Hey, Dan Spiegel here from HockeyBuzz.com, Florida Panther writer. I'm here with Paige Lewis, Panther writer for PantherParkway.com, and we're here to talk about the Stephen Weiss situation, which is a very divisive topic. Paige, you wrote a great article earlier in the week about Stephen Weiss being traded, so why don't you bring our viewers up to speed about what you wrote about and your thoughts behind it?
Like I was telling you earlier, I love Weiss, I really do, but like this year alone, he's making $4.1 million.
Right.
His overall average is 3.1. But what's to say he's not going to ask for $5 million, $6 million?
Right.
And is $5 million, $6 million over another 6-year contract, is it really worth keeping someone who only averages about 50 points per year?
Right.
And the reason I say he's probably going to ask this is because of Travis Zajac.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Zajac's a perfect example. He's making a little under $6 million, has had about the same career as Weiss. He's a little younger.
Right.
And his is over 8 years.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? And I think we could take that money and I don't want to lose him in free agency by any means.
Sure.
At all.
Yeah.
I do think we trade him so we can get something back for him.
Right.
So.
And the ever-present Jay Bouwmeester situation is sort of looming again for us because you don't want to let him go for nothing, and if you roll the dice and you go for another playoff run, and then whether you make it or not, that's really irrelevant. It's where is the situation in the off season, and Weiss is a hometown guy. He's not going to screw the Panthers in any way. But there's always an inherent risk with not getting a deal done. And you would think that a deal would have to get done before the deadline for there to be, for everyone to be calm and relaxed about this situation. But he said he's not negotiating during the season. So, there's some risk there involved as well.
Right.
Looking at his statistics over the last 3 seasons, let's not include this one because we know it's been a short season, although we are going to talk about this season too. But over the last 3 years, he's averaged 19.3 goals and 32 assists. Okay, so he's averaging 52 points or 51 points there for the last 3 seasons. Is that a $5.5 million player?
It's hard to say because there are a lot of players who are doing that, but and are making that much money. But I think those teams are making mistakes.
Right.
Like, for instance, look at Jason Garrison in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
He's making $6 million, and the guy has 2 points.
Right.
Yeah. Like, some teams make that mistake. And who's to say that Garrison, he might do better, but as of right now. But there are players like that. And I just, I wouldn't feel more comfortable giving the $5-6 million to a player like Henrik Sedin, who's making $6 million right now.
Right.
Corey Perry, who's making a little over $5 million. James Neal, Louis Eriksson.
Right.
Those are players I would give it to because those are players that are going to keep gradually getting better and better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Weiss has seemed to stay fairly the same.
Right.
He's 30 years old now, and he might have not even hit his prime yet. I don't know, but I don't want to take that risk.
Right.
I'm not willing to take that risk because we have Bjugstad, Howden, Shore, Mueller, Markstrom. We have to sign all these boys. Mueller, we have to sign either this year or let him go.
Right.
And all those other boys that we're probably going to bring up next year, we have to sign them in the next 3 years.
Right.
So, we're probably not going to be able to sign one of them.
Right.
And I would rather waste this. I don't want to say waste, but spend $6 million on a Bobby Ryan, a PA Parento, a guy like that.
Yeah, and there's certainly some hard decisions coming for Talon because of sort of this changing of the guard, and of course, the Panthers are notorious for not having any career Panthers because the roster's been in such flux for so long. So that's why that's why Weiss is such a sort of a heart tug for the fan.
Right,
because
and I would absolutely hate to see him go. I've worked there. I know him, and I love him. He's an awesome guy.
Right.
Really, the fact that he is as loyal as he is unbelievable.
Right.
He's been to this team. But you know what? David Booth was loyal to this team too. Yeah. And he left.
Yeah.
And no one's upset about it now.
Right.
Not that I know of, at least.
Right.
Michael Samuelson came in here. No one was happy about it. And then look what happened. We made it to the playoffs. who's to say we would have made it to the playoffs if David Booth stayed?
Right.
So,
well, here's an interview I did with Weiss a couple months ago. Let me play this for everyone, and you can listen to it, and then we'll talk about it.
As far as your contract is concerned, obviously you say you're not going to negotiate during the season if there is a season. And I know you love playing in Florida and you're excited to be here. What is that like for you, your mindset, when you make that decree? There's no negotiations during the season. Obviously, there's an inherent risk there as well. Yeah. Are you okay with the questions swirling around in the fan base? Obviously, you're the face of the franchise. Are you okay with that? What would you say to the fans that have some nervousness around your contract situation?
To be honest with you, I don't think I have to say much. I think my actions over the last 10 years have spoke volumes on its own. My commitment to this team has never wavered. I've always wanted to be here and wanted to try and help this team get to the next level, and I still want to do that. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is my contract's up, and we got to try and negotiate a new deal. So anytime that's the case, anything can happen. It's a business, and I'm a free agent this year, so there'll be some decisions that have to be made, but I want to be here.
The good old, it's a business, and anything can happen, right? Yeah, we know, we certainly know what that's all about, and he's got to say that, of course, just to keep everybody prepared.
I mean, it does make me sad because I know he has been, like I said, loyal as could be, and that's great, but I really don't think Dale, I think Dale cares, but I think Dale will do what's best for, future. He got rid of Martin Havlet in Chicago, no problem.
Right.
He let him go in free agency. Do I necessarily think he's going to let Weiss go in free agency? I don't think so unless he has no other choice. Unless he cannot give him that the 5-6 million, or if he, can't get absolutely. Well, he has a new no movement clause, right?
Yeah, I believe
Weiss?
so. Yeah,
so
yeah.
He might not be able to.
Well,
and I know Dale will. I'm hoping Dale will do what's right for the team. And if we sign Weiss 2 years, $4.5 million, fine, let's do it.
Yeah.
But a long-term contract, I don't think it's right.
Well, and the other thing that we need to keep in mind is that I think Talon learned a lot about. And he got blasted by the Brian Campbell situation, the contract in Chicago. Yet they won a cup with it. I'd love to have that contract on the books with us and win a cup with it. But he did get
the exact contract.
Well, it was the same salary that he has now, but it was so huge at the time, and people were disturbed by the size because he signed him to that deal, 7.2 or whatever it is.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the Rostislav Olesh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's Talon's greatest move ever, right? But and I'd pay Brian Campbell $10 million a year to get Olesh out of town. So so whatever. But in Chicago itself, people blasted Talon pretty good because he signed him to that deal, and people were like, "Whoa, that's a lot of money for a defenseman." Yet they won the cup. But then right after that, they were in some cap troubles because of that, and so that's why they had to deal him in return and everything else. But talking about just getting back to Weiss for this season, this season's statistics are even more troubling, in my opinion, because I know that the brass was not very happy with him for being out of shape, and that's why he hurt his groin. There is some speculation that had something to do with Jovanovski being named captain and not him. Although you'd have to think that without a contract you can't name him captain. And there's been some scuttlebutt. I can't say whether it's true or not. But I'm pretty certain that Brass was not very happy with him for being out of shape, and because that's how he got injured. At least that's what they're going to say. And but this season, Weiss has played 9 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, a -9, and 11 shots on goal in 9 games. Now, this is a contract year, technically. this is a contract year, right? And I mean,
Right.
you know, it's a short year, but it's a contract year. And I mean, I didn't even realize how, you
Right.
know, wow.
And if he doesn't pick it up, the trade value is,
Yeah.
he's still, don't get me wrong, teams are still going to go after him, no
Sure,
doubt. They
sure.
should. They
He's
definitely
a very
should, because-
quality second line center.
Right, exactly. But he was thrust into this first line position with our team, and he's a second line center on any other team, and he will flourish if he goes to any other team.
Right.
But if he doesn't start stepping it up here,
Yeah.
then we're not going to be able to get a Bobby Ryan, a PA Parento. We're not going to be able to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So but he's good for it. It'll happen.
Well, there's some interesting times ahead for sure. Paige, thank you so much for coming on with me today to talk about this. And we'll be doing many more of these, hopefully one in the near future about the contract situation of some other players on the club, like Philip Kuba, Scotty Upshaw, things like that, where there's some certainly interesting opinions on those contracts as well. But thank you again so much. You can see Paige on pantherparkway.com. This segment was brought to you by Money Without the Guesswork. My buddy BJ Dola created a system that where you can earn tens of thousands of dollars a month on autopilot. Moneywithouttheguesswork.com. Paige, thanks again so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.